Alright, also look. Ooh, welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down as well as giving my critical retrospective on UFC 312's full card. So, with that being said, without further ado, let's get right in to the video. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share so you can help me reach 2,000 subscribers by May. I'll deeply appreciate you. And make sure you join the official UFC Discord, link in the description. Alright, so look, before we get into the video, I want to preface that UFC 312 was a very lackluster card for me as far as picks and predictions go. I mean, dog, I went 6 for 12 on picks last night and I am super beyond disappointed. But all that's left to do is to take notes and do better moving forward. But enough ramble, let's get right into my UFC 312 full card critical retrospective. And look, for the curtain jerker of the card, we had the boy Quillan Sakhild defeating Enshel Jubilee by a 19-second first round KO. And look, it was a phenomenal finish on Quillan Sakhild's part, but let's be 100% honest right now. It was a bit of an early stoppage, I can't lie. But I can't blame the ref for stepping in when he did, because with that connection into the knockdown, any ref would have thought that it was lights out for Enshel Jubilee, so it is what it is. But the fight went as I expected, and from the looks of it, Mr. Sakhild over there might be someone we've got to be keeping our eye on in the near future. Next up on the card, we had Jonathan McAuliffe defeating Kevin Jousset by unanimous decision. And look, this was a really good fight overall, and while Kevin Jousset was picking up the pace during the third round, it was a little bit too late because that consistent body to high kick from McAuliffe was there all day and was what actually won him the 29-28 decision. But overall, fantastic debut from the Uzi. Next up on the card, we had the bona fide fight of the night between Cody Steele versus Wong Zhu, where we had Wong Zhu winning by unanimous decision. And look, this was an absolute barn burner brawl from top to bottom, and was a pretty back and forth scrap in the beginning, but toward the end of the fight, Wong Zhu began to build up some serious momentum. Not to mention, the chin on Cody Steele was absolutely flawless last night. I guess you can say that Cody Steele's chin might be made of steel? No? My bad, I'll stop. But overall, fantastic win by the China native, Wong Zhu. Next up on the card, we had an absolutely dominant super stellar performance by big bro El Conquistador Alexandre Topuria, where he showed bona fide levels in the octagon last night and took Mr. Thickness into quote-unquote deep waters. And look, I know what everyone's thinking right now, and I get it. We were expecting a shutout highlight reel performance from Alexandre Topuria last night, but instead we got a very cool, calm, and collected technical technician. And you see, while I do agree, I do think that his performance against Thickness last night was mostly in part due to the pressure of the moment. You know, with it being his debut and all, the storyline behind the fight, and him not wanting to tarnish and trash the Topuria last name. So instead of going, balls to the wall like his little bro usually does, he played it safe, stayed loose, technical, and instead of finishing with a highlight reel KO blow, let his footwork, head movement, and defense do all the talking. But overall, stupendous win by Alexandre Topuria last night, and I cannot wait to see what the future has in store for El Conquistador. Maybe a step up in competition? Who knows? By the way, if there's a fight to make for El Conquistador right now, I maybe want to see a matchup between him and Peyton Talbot. Please make it happen, UFC. Pretty please. Next up on the card, we had Wong Kong beating Bruna Brazil by unanimous decision. And I mean, I did get this pick wrong, but it's whatever. Great win by Wong Kong. Next up on the card, we had Tom Nolan beating Vyacheslav Borsev by unanimous decision. And wow, Tom Nolan impressed the shit out of me last night and showed a lot of new aspects to his game. Love to see it. Next up on the card, we had Jack Jenkins versus Gabriel Santos, where we saw Gabriel Santos take the dub by third round submission finish. And wow, what a way to come back from Gabriel Santos, because after taking that brutal head kick he ate in the first round, I thought it was GG's for Santos from then on out. I guessed it must have been that lecture that Charles do Bronx told him in the corner leading up to the second round that must have flipped a switch in Santos' head. But regardless of the fact, what a great comeback performance by Gabriel Santos. Now moving on to the main card, where we had Jack Matthews and Francisco Prado open up the show, where we saw Jack Matthews come out on top by unanimous decision. And look, man, Jack Matthews' striking was looking absolutely grade A last night, and you already know I'm a sucker for MMA boxing, so this fight was a super fun watch. Great win from Jack Matthews, and by the way, a fight between him and Neil Magny would low-key be a banger. Next up on the card, we had a bout between Jimmy Crute versus Rodolfo Bellato, where it ended in a majority draw. And look, man, what else is there to say? I mean, I didn't think a draw was really necessary, honestly. I thought Crute clearly did enough in order to edge out the decision win, but with Rodolfo Bellato's end of fight comeback, it was probably the reason why it edged it out on the scorecards. Pretty lackluster performance from both guys, and I say do a rematch at either UFC 314 or UFC 315 in Montreal. Next up on the card, we had Taliesin Teixeira utterly and brutally elbow Justin Tafa to death, ending him in round 1 by a TKO finish. And look, man, nothing more really needs to be said. I took the chance on Tafa this time around, and even though my gut was telling me not to, I still did. I will never, ever be betting on a Tafa brother ever again, regardless of the circumstances. And UFC, please cut the Tafas right now. And now for the co-main event, where we had Weili Zhang Weili with an utter masterclass of a performance against Tatiana Suarez. And I mean, what can I say? I saw this coming and I knew Zhang Weili was gonna win this fight. And like I said in my fight breakdown, the key to beating Zhang Weili is to be able to severely hurt her on the feed. Otherwise, with her ridiculous gas tank, she will keep on coming forward, no matter how good your ground offense is, and Tatiana Suarez just simply doesn't have the striking power or output in order to make that happen. And look, it was clear as day that Tatiana Suarez had some solid grappling as well as wrestling ability, no doubt. But without the ability to hurt Zhang Weili on the feet, she stood absolutely zero chance of winning this fight. And like I said in the breakdown, I saw Tatiana Suarez's ground game proving to be very effective at the beginning of the fight. But if she was not able to do anything in order to end this fight early, then Zhang Weili was going to acclimate, make the correct adjustments, and make sure anything that Tatiana Suarez was able to do at the beginning of the fight wouldn't work later on. And after the first round, Tatiana Suarez had nothing left for Zhang Weili. And man, I'm pretty sure that just further proves that Zhang Weili is the greatest women's mixed martial artist in the world right now, and there's no one really left for her but a super fight against Valentina Shevchenko at 125 pounds. Please, UFC, make this happen. And now for the main event, where yet again, I called it. Dricus du Plessis closes the show with an absolute shutout, a 50-45 decision victory over Sean Strickland. And I mean, yeah, he made this decision this time around a lot more dominant than the first. And like I said in the breakdown video, Sean Strickland is a one-trick pony. A high-level one-trick pony, don't get it twisted, but still a one-trick pony nonetheless. And since their initial fight, Dricus still knocks du Plessis has been the only one improving and getting better. And look, I mean, there's really not much to say, really. Dricus looked great. He was landing a lot more effectively than he did initially, and like always was just applying that pressure and kept this fight very volume heavy. even breaking Sean's nose at one point. But if I were to give a Sean Strickland takeaway that I noticed while watching this fight, I would say that Sean Strickland showed some serious heart. Because even after Dricus broke his nose, he popped it right back into place and was virtually unfazed. Very applaudable warrior spirit from the former champion. But for the moment we've all been waiting for. What's next for Dricus du Plessis? And guys, I think we already know what's next. And that's the one and only Khamzat Chimaev. And look, y'all, this was honestly just an inevitability just waiting to happen. I mean, Dana White has stated on numerous occasions that the winner of this fight would be facing off against Khamzat Chimaev next. And man, I'm more excited to see this. The foreseen future of the one to become the first ever triple champion might actually be coming to fruition in the not so distant future. But I've got a standalone video about this topic coming very, very soon. So, in the meantime, get your visa issues sorted and get your passports ready, because Khamzat Chimaev, you're up next. But that's all I've got to say for this video. Let me know in the comment section below, what were your guys' overall thoughts on UFC 312's full card? And if you were to ask me, I'd kind of rate this card a 7.5 out of 10. It actually exceeded my expectation. And though going into UFC 312, I did expect it to be a lackluster card, it was super crazy. I freaking loved it. But let me know in the comment section below. But that about wraps up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.